Yeah, how do I summarize or give proper credit to a guy that says health is not a commodity, it's a common good? There's nothing I believe more about health than that. Health is not a commodity, it's a common good. And when these people, these businessmen, so-called businessmen like Christopher Luxon say that it needs to be run like a business, you've got to push back. Like, and none of the mainstream media does because they're being run like businesses, right? Their public quality of public media is that it's basically being attacked and destroyed, no different than hospitals. And so we don't have anyone really pushing for the common good, at least not in a concerted way. And so when you hear common sense from these two senior doctors who spent a lifetime helping people, it really hits home. It is a common good. It's something that we did do before. So in my neck of the woods, we had 12 beds per thousand. We now have something like 2.6. This is like 40 years ago. We were doing better building hospitals and supplying hospitals to our public. Think of my hospital. Parts of it now are 60 to 70 years old and really falling down. Um, that was built for a population that was less than half what it is today.
Yeah.
They did a good job of building things back then and building them to scale in a way that we just cannot, because it's always about austerity. But remember, it's always austerity for the poor and the average and the working class and pensioners and students. It's never austerity for the corporations, right? It's a 10-year gold plated contract
Yeah.
for an Australian multinational that owns our urgent cares, right? They don't have austerity. There's no money to hire nurses, right? We know that 10,000 nurses in a year got their Australian registration, right? It's catastrophic. So they can brag about having increased numbers of nurses hired, but if you are hemorrhaging them, it's like putting a band-aid on when your
Yeah.
carotid artery is severed. We are losing them at this insane record rate. I think that was a 53% increase from the year before, over 10,000 New Zealand nurses getting registered in Australia. That's an expensive process to do that and time consuming, and you don't do that lightly. You do that when you're ready to bail or you have bailed. And I mean, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing just widespread degradation, but only for some. Remember, this is a time of great profits for the private sector. And if ever there was a time for you to invest in private healthcare, it is now. Because if these, I'm not even joking, like
Yeah.
this is the time for Shane Retty to buy even more shares in Kensington Private Hospital and Surgical Center because it's going to go like gangbusters. They have guaranteed hundreds of millions of our taxpayer dollars now being guaranteed over 10-year time periods, and with gleeful abandon from Simeon Brown saying he wants to see all elective surgeries privatized. These people are telling you what they are doing to you, and yet we somehow think it's okay. And I do want to say the two most common things people will say, but isn't it good that I can get my hip done in private? And indeed, sir or madam, it is good that you can get your hip done faster. But what you have to realize is that 70% of the doctors in private came from public. They were enticed out. And these millions will only cause a hollowing out and again a hemorrhage of anesthetists. That's the largest number of a kind of doctors that we are losing from public and into private are the anesthetists, because they have a marketable skill they can take into private that will be highly reimbursed, and it leaves our public system screwed. I don't think you understand, you guys understand, but I don't think the average public person understands that, yes, you're going to get your first cataract. So they'll do your left eye in private. But when you return to the public system because you have an emergency in your right eye, you are going to be stuffed. The surgeons and anesthetists will be gone, and they don't come back from private, right? They're getting paid well to cherry pick cases and do the least sick, least complex, and most profitable ones out in private. I mean, this is catastrophic on every level, and it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. I could sit here for hours and talk about it, but I want people to understand that when you applaud the hollowing out of the public sector, the shifting of, in just one case, $350 million that could have gone to build your new surgical theaters at your hospital, that money has gone to private. And what will happen is you'll end up with this. Now, I came from the US 20 years ago, 18 years ago, so I can tell you what happens. Private gains a monopoly. When they become the only game in town and your public hospital is the place of last resort that no one wants to go to because it's just crap and it's dysfunctional and nothing works there, then you've created the right circumstances for privatization. Public suffering drives privatization. It drives private profits. And what you're going to see is a monopoly, just like our monopolies in our energy companies, just like our monopolies in our supermarkets, just like our monopolies in our offshore banks that, again, we're hemorrhaging money abroad. We won't see that money again. In fact, in most cases, we don't even collect proper taxes on it. It escapes. And that's what we're now seeing in healthcare. This is a time for the robber barons to be moving into New Zealand. It's a small market, but it's a profitable one. And whenever you see the words private equity or venture capital attached to your healthcare as a citizen of New Zealand, you know what will happen to you. You will be predated upon. The vultures are out, and you are not a patient who deserves care. You are their next meal.